Hello, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Tonight, we're talking about you. Yes, you are the medium in your marketing. You are the medium in your marketing. So, quick backstory or context, right? Artists create with mediums. When I was in high school, I took a black and white photography class, and we used both cameras, a camera and film, as well as a darkroom to develop that film. To produce the image, right? Like that was the medium. I also did some painting in college. I took some sculpting classes. In that case, clay was the medium. And we would obviously work with the clay it would come in these, it looked like a stick of butter, right? It was like clay, but it was in this rectangular brick. And we would use that. It would be typically room temperature. So you have to like hold it, squeeze it, until it warms up. You could start to make it pliable, right? Like mold it, shape it as it warmed up. But it was with that clay then we would create shapes, right? Create sculptures. And that was really fun. And there's something about art, right? That just feels, feels relaxing, first of all. It also feels, what's the word? Like, it doesn't feel like the world is going to end if you do the sculpture wrong, right? Because in art, what is wrong, right? If Bob Ross were here, he would be like, oh, we just take mistakes and we turn them into happy little trees, right? It's like, there is no mistake in art. You just create. So I love the context or the frame of art as it relates to marketing, because so many people, and I've done this for so long, where we treat our marketing with so much seriousness. We feel like everything matters, and there's so much weight to it that we can't enjoy it like it's art, right? And so I think part of that happens because we look at a right and wrong. We have a right and wrong view or paradigm of marketing. Like, this is the right way to market. This is a wrong way to market. This works. This doesn't work, right? And so there's so much pressure to produce a result that you lose the art of it, right? Like when I was in college making clay sculptures, I wasn't at risk of doing it wrong, and there wasn't a result. There may have been a grade that I needed to produce, but look, let's just be honest. Like in art class, I didn't really care what my grade was. I wasn't trying to build sculptures because I wanted an A. I chose to do an art class because I really liked art. And so isn't that interesting, right? Like, if we think about business, like, do we really choose business because we have something to create, or do we choose business because we were following a dream of infinite income and unlimited hours in the day to do however we wanted to do, right? Like, that's sort of I think some of the ways that we get into business. And so producing a result in that context is everything. Like, if you don't have any money, then producing a result is really important. But if we got into business because there was an expression, if we got into business because there was something we wanted to say, a cause we wanted to support, a change we wanted to champion, then these are the things, right, that take the pressure off of producing the result, because we're not doing it for the result, though the results are obviously a way to keep score. Like, look, I do marketing to produce a result called I want to create change in the world. And I like to have food with my meals, so money becomes an important piece of that equation. But when I started to look at marketing and my messaging as art, everything started to feel more playful. Things started to be more of a self-expression rather than a right or wrong binary way of looking at things. It gave me freedom to start to explore, what do I want to do with this brick of clay called marketing in my business? What do I want to do with this clay called my marketing message? How do I want to shape it and work with it, make it pliable so that I could interact with you through shows like this and other work that I do? Because I'm leading a conversation in the world. My art is the conversation that I'm leading in the world. Your art is the conversation that you're leading in the world. And when we look at it like art, right, everything becomes more creative, more enjoyable, time stands still, we feel good about the work we're doing, and results will come, but it's no longer just about the result. Why? Because there's a payoff in the creation. If there's no payoff in the creation, then your chips are all in on a payoff for the result. But if you can enjoy the work that you do, if the work you do is an expression for you, then you get a nice juicy payoff from the creation and the self-expression and the impact that you make with others, and not just the dollars you make. I feel like there's a lot of people, this was me too, who in the beginning days of business and marketing, it was like all we could do was think about producing the result, right? And you look at social media, and if you're in a company or an association, you can see a lot of people around you having success with those results, right? But that puts a lot of pressure on. And so artists don't have to compete, right? I know Ellie's growling at some dogs walking. She's putting a lot of pressure on herself for the result. Ellie. So this is the joys of doing Facebook Lives when we've got... Here. You're so silly. Okay. Anyway, and this Facebook Live obviously is a piece of art because I'm able to just be playful with it while my dog is growling at other dogs. I think she's jealous. Anyway, so look, let me bring this point home now, okay, which is that if marketing is art, if your message is art, then as artists, we need a medium, right? What's our medium? Our medium isn't so much the tools that we use for our marketing, like social platforms. Our medium is our life. Your life is the medium. And this is a huge shout out to Rob Bell, because I bought his course on Gumroad. Actually, it was right off his site, but I think Gumroad is hosting it. It's called Something to Say. For $20, this is awesome. It's like over 7 hours of Rob teaching through distinctions about how to craft messages and how to say things. Rob is one of the best I've ever experienced at saying things and unpacking very complex, abstract things into ways that inspire your soul, right? And he said that this morning as I was listening. He was like, you are the medium. You are the medium. I've said things like that in different ways, but that was so succinct, right? Like, you are the medium. And so what does that mean? Well, with mediums, we create, right? We get to take a canvas, we get to take paintbrushes, we get to take bricks of clay, and we take these things and we use them to create something. Well, you get to take your life and all of its experiences, good and bad, and you get to turn it into some art. You get to create color and texture with the life lessons that life has taught you, good and bad. There is truth in both good and bad. And you, if you choose to, in your marketing, get to take those life experiences and shape them so that they over here can make an impact and an impression on us, right? That you could take what it was that you learned and share it with the world in a way that, like, it's cool, like when artists create something and people come to galleries and they look at the artist's work and they stare at the work on the walls, and people can smile and take a deep breath and consider all of life's truths as they look at a painting. And the same can happen when people interact with your marketing. When you take all that life has taught you in your truth and you turn it into something that is art, that inspires our soul over here as we listen through a podcast or we watch it in a Facebook Live or however it is that you're capturing that message, we get to sit here and interact with you and your art because you created it, you structured it, you crafted it in a way that made a difference, that made an impact. So, why does this matter? Well, because I feel like a lot of us sometimes look at our life and we say, well, who am I to say something? What do I have to say? Or I'm not there yet. And so because I'm not there yet, I'm not valid. And so there's a lot of people shaming themselves for the work they do, right? Like as if you were a first grader who did an art project and then you came home and you completely scolded yourself and shamed yourself for the piece of art you created. You're like, no, that video wasn't good enough. No, my writing isn't good enough. I'm not a good writer. There's a lot of things you say that shame yourself when, in fact, everyone is an artist and you have your own truths. And all there is to do is to learn how to share that. That's all there is to do. If you're in business, which is that's this tribe, right? You're in business and you want to grow your business, you want to make with real people and authentic connections, then what's required for you to do that is to take your life. We over here need an authentic interaction with you in order to create that. You doing marketing from a place of pretense, right? Or fronting doesn't help us create a real connection with you. But if you are part of this tribe and you want real authentic connections, you want real relationships through your marketing, then the medium that you get to use to create that is your life and the good and bad truths, right, that life has taught you. And you get to turn those around and shape them into something that inspires our soul. That's it, gang. That's it for today's episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. If you want to check out our free course, which talks about how do you actually start this process of taking your life and capturing the truths and sharing it with the world so you inspire souls, you can go to groundswellmethod.com and start the free course there. Thanks for hanging out with me today in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us, and until tomorrow, see ya.